Okay, guys. Now we've got a Fallout 76 hat. We've got an Anthem hat. I feel like there's a Stadia hat incoming. Okay.
Definitely.
Now this is one of the biggest hyped things I think we've seen recently in terms of the next generation of gaming. This is the future of gaming. How it feels to see Stadia run.
Try being straight for one. If it doesn't work, I know what to do to get back to the way it was. But
it's the future of 76, everybody. Okay, now we'll get to that. Let's do the drop. Apparently, Stadia is the worst thing that's happened.
I actually played it, by the way. So I can tell you personally how much it's
He can tell you personally, but let's get the drop. There's a lot of stuff that's happened with Stadia. It's recently launched. It's a total meme. Let's get to it. You know, people were excited for Stadia. But, you know, it's more like failure. Am I right?
So I feel like firstly we need to address our beef with Inside Gaming.
You thought it was bad with Yong Ye.
You've just seen nothing until you understood the beef with us and
those guys.
To be honest, we actually love those guys.
No, they're alright.
We're just basically trying to steal their clicks from
I'm
them.
just gonna say that, you know, this whole, like, you know, having two people in front of the camera telling the news, it just doesn't work.
It's so lazy.
Lazy, you should just stop doing it.
Try harder Inside Gaming.
Whatever.
You know, we should cut to a laptop now.
Oh my god,
we should cut to a talking laptop.
We should have Cactus over there. That's what we should do.
Okay, let's get back on track.
Stadia,
right? What an absolute catastrophe this has been. Let's take it from the very beginning. This episode is basically going to be a complete catalogue of all of the failure that Stadia has gone through since launch. And it's going to be like kind of a long episode because there's so much to cover. First thing I think we need to talk about...
like that was another drop. But anyway,
yeah, that's right, true.
What's wrong with you?
Firstly, I think we need to talk about the overall business model of Stadia and why it's shit. We've already discussed it before, but just to recap, you actually need to pay to access Stadia for now. There is a free version coming later on, but like, that's later on, okay? Right now, you need to pay actual money to use this product, and it's a garbage product that does not work for most people, okay?
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, look, a lot of products when they come out, when they're the beta or like they've just come out, sometimes you've got to pay for them and they will be free later. But like, if you release it and it's an absolute garbage state, no one's gonna come when it's free later. Okay, no one's gonna come back for it.
Okay, secondly, you need to pay for your games on Stadia. It's not like, oh, you pay for some subscription service for $10 a month, you get access to a complete library of games. No, you need to buy Destiny 2, for example, if you want to play Destiny 2.
Destiny 2 is free to play though.
Actually, this version is not. You actually need to buy Destiny 2 here. Yep.
Wow.
And
that was
secondly,
not staged, by the way. I did not know that.
Later on, you will be able to get like some free games every month, like PS Plus and like Xbox Gold, etc. But it's not going to be like Games Pass, which has this vast library of stuff to access. It's going to be a few titles per month and you need to pay for it. So it's like, why the fuck does this exist? I think this really is just an absolutely bonkers business model that doesn't appeal to anyone at this point, especially when you've got Project xCloud from Xbox, which is literally like, if you own your game, you will be able to stream it on your machine, and if you want to buy Game Pass for $10 a month, you can stream all of those games to any device you like, anywhere you like. I mean, that is just obviously good. Stadia is obviously garbage.
I think when you've already got an established competitor in the market like Xbox, and you're heading in there, Stadia, Google, you want to try the whole thing of gaming. You've got to see what the other competitors are already doing and what they want to be doing with their own consoles. If you cannot match that, I already think you're on the back foot. But on top of that, if you're also like saying all these things are working and they don't work, like 4K for instance, I mean, it's a giant meme.
Oh, I forgot. You're broken. I don't want to play with you anymore.
if it doesn't work, I know it.
So obviously Stadia came out this week, and the reviews were very kind, by which I mean that they completely destroyed this product left, right, and center.
But was it actually kind of like, IGN gives things 7 out of 10, or was it actually not kind?
This is actually like
not kind.
Complete reaming.
Oh, good.
Paul Tassi of Forbes said, "I have been a Stadia skeptic going into the test run, but I was willing to give it a chance. But this has been a catastrophe from start to finish during my testing phase. And the problem is that even if it did work flawlessly, which it absolutely doesn't, the entire model seemed doomed to fail from the start. This is an enormous miss from Google, and I'm really wondering what the fallout is going to be from this ill-conceived early launch."
The Verge says, "There's no reason anyone should buy into Stadia right now."
Oof.
Oof. Google has made sure of that, partly by under-delivering at launch and partly with a pricing scheme that seems you paying 3 times for hardware, for servers, for games. just to be an early adopter.
And that's savage.
Ouch.
Love it.
I'm feeling Google Glass here. Are you feeling that? I feel like this is going to be like 6 months. Like, what? Stadia? I don't know what you guys are talking about.
Ars Technica says, verdict, early adopters feel like they're getting a beta product for free. Wait until next year to see if Google can work out the kinks and proves the service longevity. Spoiler alert, they won't be able to.
Business Insider said, I've been playing games on Google's ambitious new Netflix-like game service for the last week, and it's clear the service isn't ready for prime time. It's an approach that might work with a free service like YouTube, but it's less palatable when you're shelling out over $100 at launch on a new product, to say nothing of the cost of each game. Though it's entirely possible that Google will iron out Stadia's issues over the coming months, it's clear that now, at launch, the service isn't ready for prime time, everybody.
Now, it must be said that there are some reviews that are like, yeah, it works pretty good and it's all right, but like those reviews are pretty.
They're all Google employees, everybody.
That's right. But it doesn't really matter that there's a few reviews that say it works, because there's like more than enough reviews that say it doesn't. Like, imagine if 40% of the Nintendo Switch hardware next generation just doesn't turn on, or it just like stutters mercilessly. It doesn't matter that 60% of people are having a good time. 40% of people can't use this fucking thing that they paid for. Do you know what I mean? That's the ball game.
If most people like Pokemon, then if someone says it's shit, then they must be right, people.
Pokemon is shit.
Who's that Pokemon? It's got that like.
I think this really reminds me as well of the claims that Google made, where they're like negative latency. Google said that they've invented this new technology that will anticipate your next button presses, and so that would kind of make it so that there's no latency and you wouldn't even be able to tell that you're playing on this like cloud streaming service. That's a complete meme, like this clip.
I can't even look around.
Hey, just because he's a little slow.
Something was said. Not good. What was it? Slow? They called you slow! How dare you call me that?
So those are the reviews of it, and then there's actually like it getting into the consumer's hands.
Yep.
Now the first thing that went wrong was that people that ordered the product, the Founders Edition, didn't get their activation codes when they were supposed to, despite having ordered it like months in advance.
And apparently it was a whole like first serve, you know, you buy it first, you get it first kind of thing, right? So people are like, cool, I'm gonna buy it 6 months ago, and some of them weren't even getting their codes. And then a guy like, you know, bought it the day before launch, was getting it before some of these people that bought it 6 months ago.
And this had long, this actually had repercussions for people who wanted to reserve their names. For some reason, there are people who want to reserve their names on Stadia.
Like, you know, Big Schlong 69. You can't do that now.
Very important.
Noob Master.
Yeah, Noob Master 69.
It's important to have that name for the 6 months this service exists.
Yeah.
So basically, those people then missed out on getting some of the names they wanted. Obviously, it's a bit nitpicky, but at the same time, if you literally pre-ordered this garbage product because you wanted to get a name for 6 months,
but it doesn't...
and then you didn't get it, you'd be pissed.
Yeah, like, I mean, if it's part of their whole, like, marketing strategy, like, hey, buy it now because you get X, Y, and Z because it's the future of gaming.
Yeah.
And then you don't deliver that, of course it's going to be pissing people off.
And exactly,
Look,
that's
Reddit is always very forgiving.
But this is exactly what Google said. They said, you'll have a chance to grab a cool name on a new gaming platform, ! Good reason to pre-order.
Ooh.
You'll get the name reservation email a bit before you receive your Founders Edition. As for who gets first dibs, we'll be sending name reservations emails in the order pre-orders were received. That was from a Google employee. That was a lie.
They're also now fired. No.
They got promoted. Beyond that, obviously, Stadia went live with a whole bunch of missing features. Stuff like achievements, Buddy Pass, Stream Connect, and importantly, no wireless controller support. Like,
seriously.
If you want to use Stadia with a phone, for example, you need to plug the controller in via a USB port into your phone to be able to use it. Like, is this real life?
This whole idea of like, hey, it's going to be like streaming to the cloud. It's going to be all futuristic. By the way, have a cord connected into it on the... Imagine being on the bus and shit. Like, it's... It's just more stuff that has been promised and is not being delivered.
Well, one very funny feature of the controller is that you can't actually take it apart without destroying it, which means it can't be repaired.
Oh, so there's YouTubers that love to like open things apart.
One guy did this video where he literally had to saw it open, and then he's like, "Yep, you definitely can't open this thing without a saw." So Good job,
Wow.
Google. Obviously, the launch lineup of games is its own meme. Like, there was about sort of like the first batch of games that were revealed was about 12 games. Most of these games were like 3 or 4 years old and no one wanted to play them.
Yep.
There was subsequently a few more games revealed after that as well. But this is clearly a launch lineup that is lacking any specific games that people want to buy. Like, launching a new piece of hardware with no apps that people are interested in. Like, do you want to buy Destiny 2 again and play it with like no one? Jason Schreier was recently talking about the fact that Destiny 2 is basically unplayable because he can't find anyone to PvP with. There's no one queuing into PvP in Destiny 2 on Stadia because no one's playing Stadia. This is a thing that's happening. This is a real story that we're reporting on. This is fucking crazy.
We are laughing. And the Wi-Fi apparently is so terrible, right? Apparently, okay, look, this is another thing that was promised at launch. Guys, play it anyway. It's all good. Stadia 5G. Don't worry about it. It is so bad on Wi-Fi that they've actually done an official statement saying, guys, just plug it in. Okay, just plug it into the internet.
Yeah.
We can't lie to you anymore. It's out, okay?
So that was a tough loss. How do you feel after that?
How the fuck you think I feel? Don't ask no dumbass questions.
And also some Chromecasts that are being used. By the way, you can only use Chromecast Ultra, not the older versions of Chromecast. Some Chromecasts are actually overheating while they're doing this. Like, oh, because of course they are. It's too perfect. One of the interesting reports as well is data. One of the interesting reports as well is data consumption. That's right. That's how we say it, Americans. We say data. Okay, get over it.
Data.
Now, users are reporting that it's consuming 7 gigabytes of data an hour to play games, and it consumes more than that when you're playing it at 4K. That's a lot of data, man.
Yeah.
Most people don't have that amount of data. Like, that's crazy.
I can tell you now,
7 gigabytes.
you know, when I'm streaming 4K content on my phone, it's not usually that much, guys, okay? I know from experience.
What content are you streaming on your phone,
Netflix.
This really leads us to, I guess, the biggest lie and controversy surrounding the launch of Stadia, and that is to do with 4K 60 FPS performance. Now, one of the biggest reasons that you would buy into something like Stadia is the promise that you don't need to buy like an expensive PC.
$3,000?
Exactly, to play 4K 60 FPS games. That will all be computed in the cloud, and you will get, like, you know, the image on your computer, it's gonna look incredible, etc. Boom. That is actually a specific feature that is only available to pro subscribers of the product. You will never be able to get access to this on the free tier of Stadia. If you want to get 4K 60 FPS, you need to buy the pro version, okay? Turns out, though, that this is a complete lie. For example, Destiny 2 is rendered at 1080p, and then it's upscaled to 4K, like so it's not native 4K.
Yeah, the whole square thing like PlayStation Pro does, exactly. Right.
And also, furthermore, Bungie themselves have confirmed that Destiny 2 is running at medium settings when you are playing on Stadia. So it's not like you're running ultra settings, 4K 60 FPS. They have literally turned it down to medium to get it to the point where it can run at a stable 60 FPS and then be beamed to you at 4K upscale. Like, that's so crazy. That is such a lie that this happened.
Yeah, even if they're like, guys, look, it's going to come out at medium settings, like they're just very open and transparent. Yeah. You know, with Google, with Project xCloud, you know, they're coming out saying, dude, it's going to be 720. Like, they're being very honest about the performance, right? I reckon that's going to land a lot better than stuff like this, because if you're going to come out and promise all this shit and then it doesn't deliver, it is 20 times worse than if you come out saying it's 720p and there might be a little bit of blips here and there, but it is still running at 720p.
For sure. I mean, this also extends to something like Red Dead Redemption 2, which it's confirmed has running at 1440p and then upscaled, and it looks just way worse. Like, there's comparison screenshots here from one Twitter user who's basically demonstrated the fact that it looks way better on the Xbox running at 4K than it does on, like, Stadia's apparently best-in-class hardware and whatever else. It's such a massive difference. And this is important because previously Stadia did tweet out that Red Dead would run at 4K 60 FPS. That tweet was subsequently deleted. And furthermore, you know, Phil Harrison from like Google himself was being like, all games will launch at 4K with Stadia. What he didn't say was that it was going to be 4K upscale, which is not what people were promised and not what they want. So, like, that's fucking shady, man.
Totally.
That's super shady.
And like, this is like, you know, yes, this is the first thing to come out in this type in terms of streaming, gaming, and whatever. Like, there's so many lenses going to be on this to be like, how shit is this? I mean, to come out and make all these promises and not deliver, it's an absolute just like disaster for Google. I honestly wonder now if it is going to be 6 months. We don't hear about this anymore.
Yeah, a lot of people are declaring it dead on arrival. I would say that it's important to remember that this is a long-term play for Google.
Well, we don't know that.
No, well, what I would say is that this technology is going to have some applications somewhere. I actually believe that they don't really care how this specific thing is going to go. But in the long term, when it comes to rolling out to markets like India or doing like desktop projection stuff for business suites and all sorts of stuff, there's a lot of application for this technology. Whether or not Stadia survives, I don't know. But certainly cloud computing beamed to your screen is going to be a big market for Google, and I reckon they're using gamers as guinea pigs for this sort of tech.
Sure, and I think there's other applications in terms of robotics and being able to control things all over the world with 5G streaming. Like, we're going to see a lot of applications for using this kind of low latency technology. But I actually don't think... look, who knows? I just think the track record with Google is like, if it doesn't work pretty quick, they're out.
I agree with that. That is a risk.
So I don't know. Yeah, who knows?
So all of this has culminated in a lot of disappointment for Stadia fans. Do they have fans? Can you call them stans? Stadia
failure. Failure fans.
Stadia suckers?
I don't know what they are,
rough,
but how
man.
can you be a fan yet? It just started.
There was a lot of excitement on the subreddit of people being like, yeah, my Stadia is about to arrive. I'm so excited. And then obviously, like, my code hasn't arrived. I've lost my name. The Wi-Fi performance is terrible. It's not 4K. It's just collapsed.
I couldn't get my name Boomer69.
I think this one post really sums it up from one user who says, you know, I received my Stadia unit this morning and I can't even be bothered to open it up. I've already reserved my name, started the pro subscription, but that's it. I can't be bothered for the simple reason that I feel that I have been purposefully misled by Google over what Stadia delivers. It was clear that they promoted it as a 4K 60 FPS system with above average graphics, all with the beauty of streaming. Now all I hear are games are upscaled and not truly 4K, and the graphics are pretty low quality, not at all what we were being led to believe. I couldn't be more disappointed by all this, I really couldn't. The whole purpose was to have as good as high-end PC graphics at 60 FPS. Seriously, we are paying for a substandard old generation technology that's to a penny already. Google, bad move.
Look, again, very nice. I do think that, again, if they positioned this differently, it would be much better if they were a lot more transparent about what they're actually getting at launch. I think it would have been a better environment for hiccups and a better environment for potentially a failure at launch, you know? But, you know, with so many companies, they come out going, guys, it's going to be the best thing ever, because they're terrified of not having the best product or something. And it just gets them in a situation where they just become a giant meme. You know, if they just came out and they were a lot more transparent about what was actually going to be the launch product, we probably wouldn't be covering this as much, you know?
I gotta quit smoking.
There we go.
So one thing I can say though is I was recently in London and I had the chance to go hands-on with Stadia.
We've both played xCloud a couple of times now. But
xCloud was excellent.
I haven't played.
What I played of Stadia was
shill.
atrocious. Okay, first of all, the controller, man, it is the cheapest, nastiest, most piece of shit controller you can imagine. It feels like the
PlayStation 1.
No, it feels like the Nintendo Switch Pro controller, but
that's
like
a very good controller.
But really shit. Like, imagine that controller, but arse.
Like
that was
light and
just empty and crappy and bad button response and everything. Just like a really garbage controller. The UI experience for it is terrible. You literally need to like buy the games on your phone. So when you get Stadia, you can't just like do it all on your TV. You need to download the app and do it. And you buy games on your phone. You can't buy them on the TV. And you press a button on your phone to like send it to your TV and start playing it. And then performance-wise, like I played a few minutes of Rage 2. I couldn't even play it. I had to stop playing because the latency was so bad. Like, it was just so awful. That it was unplayable because the lag, man. I kept overcorrecting on targets, and so I immediately had to put it down. I'm like, this is a failure. I couldn't believe it. It's just
a failure. Stadia is a failure, everybody.
So look, I mean, having personal hands-on experience with this, I'm just like, how did this get green light? I would be okay with this product existing at this point in time as a beta test for years, right? The idea that Google are charging people money for this product at this point is absurd. Like, it's just an absolute joke. Xbox right now are running Project xCloud testing, which is completely free. There's like 50 games you can play. If you're if they're in Europe or the US, you just sign up and you can start testing it straight away. They're not charging you for it. That's how you do it. Like, the fact that this is a thing like this it's a complete scam.
I think that, look, we've played it in very controlled environments. Project xCloud, I think it's been fine. I've played fighting games, driving games, and shooting games. They're all fine. It'll be interesting to see how it actually is at launch, but
I've definitely heard good things from people though though about Project xCloud.
Sure,
Like,
that's great.
A lot of
then.
positive feedback.
That's really great. I think because they are doing it 720p and whatever, and maybe they've just been working on this for a long time. Who knows? But I think that I mean, this is just how do you compete in this space? I think in 6 months when Project xCloud is going to be learning from your mistakes. You know what I'm saying? Like they're going to come out and hopefully have all the kinks ironed out when they do actually finally bring out Project xCloud. Stadia has been now a very bad launch, and I think all the hype now is probably going to be moving towards PlayStation Now, whatever that streaming is going to look like, and also Project xCloud.
I cannot see a future for Stadia. I just can't. I mean, why would I bother with this product when I could get Xbox or PlayStation,
which is around the corner,
and hook into their infrastructures? Like, why would I do this? It makes no sense to me. Either way, that's nuts. It's complete. It's the worst launch of a new product we've seen since like Ouya, maybe.
Since Fallout.
I mean, like new hardware, or not even hardware, like a new gaming platform.
Dreamcast, man.
Oh, Dreamcast.
Since Dreamcast.
That upsets me too much.
Sorry, press F.
Shenmue 3's out. We're gonna play that.
True.
Anyway, guys, that's the episode. 1 like equals 1 hate for Stadia. So give us all the likes.
1 comment for if you don't like Fallout 76. I don't know. I just want comments.
That's some A-grade
Just
pandering.
get us in the algorithm, everybody.
We love you guys.
I appreciate you. Long out. Long out, everybody. I was going to say layman out. Yong out.
Long out.
Long out.